Hello my friends and welcome back to News Summary where we discuss news that matters. And today my friend I'll just continue with the updates on what I promise you that we will be discussing about different missile systems and the impacts on the war. Alright, so if you look at the collision of the willing and the kind of weapons that they have and which they have openly said they will not longer announce the weapons they will be sending to Ukraine, and which the current chancellor of Germany have equally indicated that he will be sending tourist missile to Ukraine. Alright, so that will be our first analysis, which will be the tourist missiles, and we look at their striking range. Alright, so tourist missiles are a highly sophisticated weapon built right in Germany, and which have a striking range of 500,000 kilometers. Alright, so looking at this striking range, it means that this missile, if in the hands of Ukraine, it can strike right deep into Russia, which is a big provocation, like the Russians rightly saying. Any country that will provide weapons to be used to hit Russian city, it can equally be declared as they themselves they are at war. Alright, so based on this analysis, you can equally clearly understand that these countries are openly declaring war on Russia, because by the time they will allow these high targets to be hit right inside the territory of Russia, it means that they themselves are equally preparing a response if Russia had to respond. Alright, so those are just the first, and we looking at Russia capability to defend their skies, to defend their cities from tourist missile. You could equally see there already that the S-25 is a game changer, because the S-25 have that capacity to dictate and strike that weapon if they launch it. But this is the tricky part now, in terms of how the 21st century wars are being fought. It's not about the best weapons, or it's not about the best air defense system, because we all have seen that they have failed. Because those air defense systems are meant to determine an incoming missile or an incoming drone and launch an anti-drone or an anti-missile response to shoot those down, right? Alright, but if you look at what the Russians have been doing to suppress the Patriot systems and to destroy them, which are said to be one of the best in the world, they will first of all send a lot of drones, or which some are merely camouflage. Alright, so once the air defense systems identify this oncoming missiles, these incoming drones, then it will react automatically. So by the time it have shoot down these swarms of drones, its cases will be empty. So it will require time to reload. So that is the time that they launch the missile to the high targets that they were targeting. So at the end of the day, the high targets might be hit, not because the country in place does not have the technology or the air defense system to shoot down the incoming missile, but it's just that the way the war is being played, more camouflage and more missiles or drones that are sent randomly without having any targets the air defense systems already use, it shows against that. Alright, so that is one of the possible means in which Ukrainians can use to hit high targets in Russia, which would equally which they'll equally be preparing for a heavy response, because like if you look at what Russia is doing, for every one target that is being hit in Russia, about 50 or 100 targets is being hit in Ukraine. So it's Ukrainians to clearly know what they are doing, and they should be able to determine, are they able to sacrifice 100 of their prime targets to one target in Russia. So if they do that analysis, and then they can be able to take. But on a personal note, I don't see that Torix missile will be any game changer, because we have seen a lot of things. They say that the Challenger tanks will be a game changer. They were never game changers. They say the S-26 will be a game changer, but it didn't happen. They say the ATACMS will be the game changer. Alright, that takes us to the second missile in Ukraine arsenal, which is the ATACMS being produced by the US. Alright, so with the ATACMS, now they still have limited restrictions on the targets and where they can hit, because the ATACMS are produced by America, and America have not yet given Ukraine the full rights to shoot wherever they want to shoot. And even if they had to do so, they will equally need the help of US to shoot those targets, because it will depend on their satellite and their military intelligence. Alright, but looking at where the ATACMS were given rights to shoot, which was in Kursk and the current regions occupied by Ukraine, you could equally say that they were never a game changer then, because the Russians are so advanced in their military tactics. Alright, so the next thing that we'll be looking at today will be the Storm Shadow, which is being produced by UK. Alright, so this Storm Shadow we actually used to hit the Crimea Bridge once. Alright, but since then they have been trying to use the Shadow Storm missile. They have been trying to use the sea drone, and they are not yet succeeding, because the reason is clear. The Crimea Bridge is protected both from air, land, and sea, and it's been protected by the S-24, the S-26, and you equally have the Russian fighter helicopters and the fighter jets to shoot down any incoming sea threats. Alright, so that is what have been unfolding. And now, if we are to look at the pretentious statements or comments social media are talking about long-range missiles produced in Ukraine, we all know that those are false, those are fake lines. Those weapons are not produced in Ukraine, they are just produced in different countries with the label of Ukraine. They are able to go even 200 kilometers, but we all know that they are not produced in Ukraine. But however, even if they are produced in Ukraine, the fact is clear. Russia missiles defense systems are more advanced, and they have been shooting those missiles down. So I don't see anyhow those ones will be a game changer. The only thing I'm afraid of is ripple effects, which is how the Russians will respond if those weapons are fired deep into Ukraine. And we already know what's have been happening in the past days. It means a lot of cities, a lot of targets, and people will die in Ukraine, which that is not our prayer. Our prayer right now is that peace should reign. So we will continue to support the initiative already started by Trump, and we pray both for President Zelensky and President Putin that their minds should be calm, so that they don't reason with emotions, but they should look at things based on the reality on the ground, which is people are dying. And if they want to solve or resolve their differences based on emotions, this war will continue, and a lot of people will continue to die. So it is time, let peace, let diplomacy takes its place. And we are sending our condolence and our love to those that have lost their beloved families in Ukraine and in Russia. And that reminds me, we condemn any violence in the world. If you have not yet liked, share or subscribe, please do so. So we see you again in our next episode. Thank you.